So let's say you're stranded on a desert island and you're
running on the beach in slow motion. He stumbles upon a magic lamp. He rubs the lamp, a genie pops out and says, "I'm here to grant you
3 video games and everything you need to play them. Which ones would you choose? JRPG. I don't quite remember what got me thinking about this, but it is an interesting thing to think about. Now, I did put a few restrictions in place to make it a little more interesting, the main one being that the game in question couldn't be an online-only game, or have its main component be about multiplayer. If multiplayer-focused games were included, you'd probably just pick games like Overwatch or Counter-Strike or a digital card game or an MMO. They would make the most sense in a scenario like this, but hey, let's assume that while the island does have electricity, there is no internet. So you could pick up a game like Mario Kart, but you're basing that choice purely on the single player aspect. I thought long and hard about my choices and I feel pretty satisfied with them. They aren't in any particular order, so without further ado, Final Fantasy IX is not only my favourite Final Fantasy, it's probably my favourite game of all time. It's a game that I never get sick of, though I suppose that would be put to the ultimate test if I was stranded on a desert island with it. I love everything about Final Fantasy IX. The characters, the way the narrative manages to tell so many different stories from different viewpoints, it has the best version of the ATB battle system, and there is a ton to do as far as side content goes. There are a few different ways you can play it too. There is kind of a challenge mode built in. If you make it to a certain point in under 40 hours, you are awarded with Excalibur 2, the strongest weapon in the game for Steiner. And while that reward isn't really worth it, it's more of a trophy to acknowledge an accomplishment than anything else. I usually play through Final Fantasy IX once every couple of years, and I occasionally get the Tetramaster bug and flick it on just to play a few rounds. As much as Tetramaster sucks in that a lot of it is RNG, it's still one of my favourite Final Fantasy minigames. It seems pretty obvious to include basically my favourite game ever, but the next one might turn a few heads. Okay, hear me out. Despite all the launch controversy and missing features, No Man's Sky is still one of the best chill-out games out there. I was one of the few people at launch that played quite a bit of it, around 70 or 80 hours. I actually really rather liked it, but then again I had tempered expectations and never planned my purchase around missing features people wanted so badly. All I wanted was to drift around an infinite universe, and while yes, it does become somewhat of a been there, done that situation after around 10 hours, the additions they've made to the game since then have monstrously increased what you can do in the game. I booted it up for the first time in around a year to get some footage for this video, and I barely knew what was going on, and I ended up starting a new file and playing for 3 or 4 hours when all I'd really planned to do was grab 15 minutes of footage. Even the base game though is something I'd really consider taking to a desert island with me. Like I said, it's a brilliant chill out game, and even though things become very samey, it's still technically infinite. You could keep making discoveries for the rest of your life on that island, and failing that, you can still rename things and make your own fun. I thought I had to at least mention Pokemon as a choice I'd definitely consider making, and it doesn't even really matter which Pokemon game. There are so many ways you can play Pokemon to keep having fun time and time again. You can try and beat the game with specific Pokemon, or you could do Nuzlocke challenges. Any Pokemon game would be a great versatile pick for this thought experiment. Ah yes, what better way is there to escape a desert island than to virtually travel to a much nicer island? Well, okay, it's more of a planet than an island, but you get what I mean. I really love Xenoblade Chronicles X. I know some people were disappointed with its story and the less developed characters compared to the first Xenoblade Chronicles, but XCX redefined open world games for me. I still think it is the benchmark. Much like Breath of the Wild, you can really go anywhere. It isn't like other quote-unquote open world games where there are invisible walls everywhere and or terrain and structures that just aren't scalable. The difference is that XCX did the Breath of the Wild freedom first and better. You eventually get access to a Skell, a flying mech, and you can literally go anywhere on the map, and absolutely everything is meticulously crafted. The world of Mirror is gorgeous. Sylvalum is one of my favourite areas from any game ever. The music is amazing, there is seemingly endless amounts of side content to do, and I don't think I would ever get sick of escaping to that beautiful world of Mirror. So those are my 3 choices, but which 3 games would you take with you to a desert island? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for liking, subscribing and sharing, and I'll see you all soon.